This week, Hornet is here in Cuba. We're here for Cuba's biggest annual LGBTQ event, a week-long celebration that each year is timed with the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. The festivities this year include parades, outdoor festivals, educational conferences, and gala events. While here, we spoke with a few local activists and Americans who have made the trek to Cuba about the island's queer community. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what brings you to Cuba?
Yes, I came to Cuba for a vacation in March, and I didn't see many rainbows. So when I went back to San Francisco, many people had followed my adventures on Facebook, and I said to my friends, I'd like to go back for Gay Pride and IDAHOT. And I'm very happy to say that thanks to folks at Hornet Broadway Cares and a lot of people in San Francisco, they gave me funding to purchase 10,000 rainbow flags on sticks, rainbow bracelets, trans bracelets. The reception has been just overwhelming. I enjoy that they are so enthusiastic about getting a rainbow. Many folks, straight and gay, know that the rainbow is a gay symbol, and they want it, whether they are gay or straight. It's something beautiful for them, and I think that will help build tolerance and acceptance for gays here in Cuba.
In your time here in Cuba, what have you learned about the LGBTQ community that might be different in some ways from the U.S. or elsewhere?
Because the web access is so restricted, a lot of cruising and sexual hookups initiate person to person in a bar, on a street, and we don't see the commercialization of pride. I wonder if we come back in 10 years, if we will see huge change in who sponsors gay pride, and if there's more web access, how it changes the gay community here.
Tell us what brings you to Pinar del Rio today.
Sure, so I'm here for the Cuban Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia.
Yep.
It's part of the celebration they do every year, and every year they have the national celebration in a different province around the country, so this year it's here.
How many times have you been to Cuba for IDAHOT specifically?
So I've been here for the last 4, and I come every year. I bring tour groups for Pride every year. Cuba's my favorite, and it's become my specialty.
And what Cuba does, from what I understand, the week of IDAHOT basically becomes their Pride celebration, right?
That's exactly right, and it's intentional because Cenesex, the National Center for Sexual Education, is really intentionally trying to brand this as a public education campaign against homophobia and transphobia, and not just a community celebration.
One of the things that's definitely stood out to me is how much the IDAHOT celebration is state-sponsored.
So Mariela Castro, she's the daughter of former President Raul. She's taken it as one of her personal projects to work for LGBT rights and integration and acceptance, and so it's not surprising anymore. But if she hadn't come along and adopted this project, Cuba wouldn't be where it is today.
We're here with Jasmani. Tell us about the work that you do for Cenesex.
El trabajo que se hace en el CNC, o sea, está distribuido en diferentes redes sociales comunitarias. Por ejemplo, yo soy el coordinador de los abogados de Camagüey en el centro de Cuba, y entonces me toca capacitar y preparar a las personas de la comunidad LGBTI cubana, principalmente de mi provincia, para ayudarlos a poder defender sus derechos. Creo que es un trabajo bien noble y eso está en todo el país. O sea, en cada provincia hay una red, y en este momento de la jornada en el que nos encontramos es un momento de fiesta también para apoyar a las personas que durante tantos años han sido sesgadas y sus derechos no han sido reconocidos, y además de los derechos que faltan por reconocer.
Tell us a bit about what brings you to Cuba.
We have churches here in Cuba. We have 3 MCC churches. We call them ECMAs here, which is Iglesias Comunidad Metropolitan. We started as an LGBT church, and then we include everybody, obviously. It's a Christian church and a ministry here. And so when I found out we have churches here, I wanted to support them as best I can. And so this is my 3rd time in Cuba with them. The first one started in Matanzas, and then now Havana has a church, and also Santa Clara.
Tell me a little bit about the IDAHOT celebration, what the MCC does.
Troy Perry last year was recognized and given an award by Mariella as a humanitarian award. He was the first American to ever receive that humanitarian award, and that was done at the gala there in Havana. We're just doing what we can to celebrate it. It's a lot like our gay prides back home, but it's a worldwide thing, and so we want to make sure that the information gets out there that they shouldn't use the Bible as a tool for their bigotry, because the Bible's about love, and that's what we're here for.
And one of the things that I've chatted with a couple people about is the state-sponsored nature of IDAHOT. The Cuban government seems fully supportive.
Exactly. Part of this is to make sure that there isn't any homophobia, there isn't any transphobia, and so that they recognize that people need to be treated equally. It's kind of sad that that doesn't happen in America as often as we want. And then also it includes HIV prevention, it includes protection for women, it includes everything, and I think that's awesome that Cinesex does that.
Tell me, Susana, a little bit about what you do here in Cuba.
Right now, I like to call myself an activist for Cuban LGBTIQ people rights and sexual rights as a whole. And right now, I'm also working with Airbnb. I'm doing an experience. The name is Into Queer Havana. And the idea is just to share information about the LGBTIQ community in Cuba. People bring information from abroad. I think that the main problem the queer community in Cuba is facing is that they need to be understood in the first place and then to gain respect and understanding about what being queer is. I'm from Santa Clara. That is a beautiful city in the center of the country, and we had the first place, like a cultural space in which drag queens and that kind of shows and every kind of people were welcome. The name is El Mejunje. I don't know if you know about it, you should go. Mejunje is amazing. So I realized when I came to Havana that Santa Clara was the first city in which Cinesex took the celebration against homophobia and transphobia outside of Havana.
Tell our viewers about the conga.
So the idea was to gather people, and in that idea the better thing was to create a social event with people connect like a conga. So we have conga, that is a Cuban rhythm. It's from the west of the country. It's really cheerful. It's actually really easy to dance. So we have this conga that people recognize every place. So in national media, when they hear conga and they hear about Cinesex, they know exactly we are talking about a queer celebration. So for me, it's like a motive of pride to have this particular kind of celebration that is just dancing and being happy with who you are.